Hey Ray, this is Nazarek, and you got
EODJinx, how y'all doing today?
happy afternoon. We're just gonna go and start talking about Conquest. It just got released again, so thought we'd go through some lessons learned that we had on the first time, and also see what we got going. So, first off, so what do you think is going to be your dream stack of discs if you get it this time around?
I got after we got off the phone, or after we got done doing it, I bumped up and did that last level, Sector 5, and I found Booming Voice, which was so much fun
Yes.
because I was able to take in like a Revan and do an AoE with a mass assist, and then it was an immediate another mass assist, which was beautiful. So much fun.
Booming Boys made so quick work out of so many things. And then
I was impressed.
and if you go and throw that on Darth Vader and had Darth Vader as a lead, it there was not much to it. At first I was like, well, I didn't even get to really use it, but that's because it just killed everything so quickly. You
Yeah.
start throwing out your force grips, and then everybody's coming with. So
hmm
Darth Vader became the squad for me for a lot of things, as long as I didn't need light side. Just go and throw
Right.
that, do the force grip, and everybody killed things. I also was using Leader's Resolve, so that only added to it. Um,
Okay.
so this time around, I'm going to be focusing on looking for any cooling systems again, deploying cooling systems, which are what gives you a chance for cooldown on your abilities if you get buffs, which then means I'm going to have to go for some buffs. So those are both single dots, and I think I passed by them along the way at the beginning, but I'm not going to this time around.
Right. Right. No, those were definitely single dots early on.
So you had the Darth
Because
Vader.
I had those dot overtime plus burning, which were really helpful also.
So they work great for Darth Vader's squads because of the being able to have the cooldown, and then once he went into Massacre, what's the name of the ability again? I'm losing it.
Merciless Massacre.
Merciless Massacre. He just kind of got into his own loop, and he just stayed in his own loop the whole time. So cooling systems made that happen. He had all those different turns, because that's the trick, is not only do you get your cooldowns that you want, you have to be able to generate the turns. So you had to have someone like Grandmaster Yoda. When he jumped, he would get another turn. You would have to have someone like Darth Vader. I don't think you could quite pull it off with Jedi Knight Luke. I mean, if you were able to do the Heroes Arise, that goes in.
I don't have that luxury. I don't have
Right.
that toy.
But I think the cooldown was something along the lines of 8 to 12 or something like that. So you'd have to have a huge amount of buffs for that to take off. So
Gotcha.
if you could do that, great. But then that's the only two that I could really think that you could pull it off with.
Understood. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Um, I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm looking at my feats now for the new one. I'm relegated to hard mode or to easy mode. See, or normal rather, not hard. I didn't get the luxury
Well, as you can see in
because I
the
didn't finish the last time.
So as you can see in the background, I decided to give it a shot at hard here, so we'll see. I was picking the brain of someone that was already started, and they're in the hard mode and has yet to see anything, but also his advice was, we'll just use Rey or um, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and hit auto. And I'm like, well, yeah, those first two steps are hard. I could hit auto, but it's not going to be with one of those two. So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see
what
how that one
I've heard
goes.
a lot of people are doing. I know Cubs did a video yesterday night with somebody else, and all he did was just use Supreme Leader solo and hit auto for like the first one, and it was just a house job.
Well, and when you were talking about that one disc that gave you the damage over time and burning, that's caustic emissions. The thing
Yeah,
I thought about those is it would have been nice with Vader But the problem is, I don't want the other team taking a whole lot of turns. So unless it's the initial turn, I didn't see those
No,
dots getting dropped on.
so what happens is once they take their turn and then they get those dots dropped, plus you add in, if you've got the Vader lead, anytime they come off, they go back on.
Sure.
So you hit them with the force grip, then they get another set of 2 dots over time. Now you're looking at 5 debuffs when it's Vader's turn. You might be able to throw your Culling Blade and end it.
That's true. I just felt like a lot of people are thinking, well, I put it on there, so they go 2 or 3 rounds and they've got now 6 dots. I'm thinking if they've already gotten 2 or 3 rounds, the carpet's coming up around the corners here, and you need to have something else to control.
Hurry up.
Yeah. So something else. There's been a lot of feats in the last time around where there was turn meter, and that became a conversation in Discord, and I thought I'd just bring that up. The squad that I used that was really... What's that?
I saw one that was 700.
Yeah. Well, and what I found out is the squad to use was to use Darth Vader as a lead, so you can go and use your loop and everything else that Darth brings to the table. But then also use Thrawn, and Thrawn can go and pitch the turn over to Moff Gideon, and Moff Gideon's ability of control the situation drains everybody of their turn meter, all of the enemy's turn meter. So you could go and potentially take 300-400 in just one turn. I think it was bugged on the last time around because they weren't all full turn meter, and I only got it off once, but it gave me the feat. So, and that was a 500 turn meter.
I got one for you. I just pulled up some of the data discs for Sector 1 in the first, because as soon as you open up, it's like, all right, you have your chance at some data discs. One of those is Decay Turn Meter, and whenever an ally deals damage to an enemy, the enemy loses 5% turn meter.
So that one, that's one of those that I keep going back in my head thinking that the Ewok squad is going to be vicious in the Conquest, just because can you imagine their turn meter train going and then the reverse turn meter train on the other side?
Right.
Not that I'm going to go and raise my murder bears right now. I've got so many other things to focus on, but...
He's going to have to make an appearance today.
Well, you don't have to hold it up on my account.
Oh, no. He's going to have to make an appearance today. So... But, no, guys, so, Naz has got a lot of good points. I mean, these data discs, they create fundamental... I mean, they gave us a sandbox mode without giving us an honest sandbox mode. The only difference is instead of being PvP, it's PV, computer, and we've got energy tied to it. We didn't necessarily want energy tied to it. We want something kind of like what Disney Sorcerer's Arena's got, but this is, I think this is a lot of fun. Yeah. This gives me so much stuff to do during the week. It's a lot of fun.
Well, just the fact that you can take a look at squads and start talking like Ewoks. I'm imagining the Jawas are going to come out with things for like the detonation or that type of idea.
Had to apply 20 detonators in the last set.
Yeah.
That was one of the feats. And if you're not using Greedo, the only other people that are really applying those thermal detonators are them Jawas.
And then Mark, that was one of them, and that was kind of an interesting combination. The feat that I ran across somebody else using, and I think it was Bit Dynasty, was going across a Night Sister squad and just marking the heck out of the zombie and just keep going. That was the easiest way of finishing off those feats.
I never thought of that.
So yeah, you get 10 to 15 out of them. I recorded a couple of videos, but I was worried that people are going to go look for them as feats, and I wasn't able to get them out before the Conquest is over, but I might still post them. They weren't polished. I made a lot of mistakes on them, but
we learn from mistakes.
I'll throw them out there in case the feats show up. Something else, so kind of going into that lessons learned type of thing, is just kind of relax. I mean, I was worried that I was going to run out of energy by the time I got finished, and I burned some crystals towards the end, and I still probably had a couple days left. so I didn't need to do that. We'll find
Yep.
out what hard brings to the table.
I'm looking at it a little differently now. So there's 5 sectors. There's 14 days. I'm going to run about 3 days a sector and try to get everything out of them. That allows me to use all of my heavy hitting squads all the time, and it allows me to make sure that I get 3 stars. Plus, I should be able to get all the feats.
Yeah. And then also when I was on normal, it didn't seem like stamina really took a huge toll until I got about halfway.
Right, and I think that I think with you running hard this time, it'll be a lot different. But
right.
You're in uncharted territory.
I'm thinking with hard, the biggest trick is going to be having multiple squads, because I'm not worried about the energy so much, but being stuck behind a stamina. I bet even when you hit 80 or down to even to 70%, that's going to take a huge toll on some of these. Now, I've heard from a few people saying that Sector 1 is still kind of what they expected through normal, but looking at the requirements on some of these wikis and web pages, they're talking Gear 8 towards the end, Relic 8.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to cut through those anytime quick.
Understood.
Getting down to the data discs of 4 stack, I mean, I'm going to guess that with the harder level, I might be looking more heavily at vitality and keeping the squad alive because of taking more damage.
Yes.
But so you have the four dots. You got Booming Voice, which when an allied unit is in the leader slot and uses ability, it calls everybody. And that's not just once per turn. That's everybody. That one's always sexy to me. I mean, come on, you throw that out there and have everybody hit. That's just gonna work.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, you guys are gonna have to excuse me. Pupper's making an awful racket. I'm trying to keep it off the feed and bouncing through Naz's ears. But we'll get Pupper up here in a minute so y'all see what he looks like. But hey, I had him on my live stream yesterday, and he was just laying on the bed behind me. He just looks like a black blob. But he's a Schnauzer Wolfhound. So
I'm just gonna call him Jedi Knight Luke, right?
Yeah. I call
Jedi
him
Knight
Grandmaster
or
Luke.
Grandmaster Luke. There you go. I
call him Grandmaster because why stop at the bottom? Let's put him right to the top. But those data discs, the phase 4 with the 4 dots, the Booming Voice, and a couple of the other ones, because Leader's Resolve, I think, was another one I saw turned into a 4 dot with a purple, and they just changed the dynamic of the squad, because I mean, it was like, all right, you're gonna take out all the speed plus everything else, and then you're gonna hit with everybody, and you just couldn't not beat that level with full team.
No.
It was ridiculous, and I have to, you have to wait till you get into Sector 4 late or Sector 5 mid before you start finding all those 4-dotters.
Well, and then moving on to the next one is Deadly Momentum. That gives all allies have a plus 30% shield penetration and gains 30% offense when an enemy falls below 100% health. Data discs that affect that trigger when enemies fall below 100 health also trigger at 70% and 40% health. That's nice, but at the same time, I'm thinking you got to get below 100 health. So it's still, I mean, it's still a really, really nice disc. It's just, to me, I'd like to have something that starts when the gate opens and you start hitting hard.
Right, and I'm with you. If you can get out the gate before they can even get out the gate, and that's why I like things like Booming Voice or the other ones, Leader's Resolve, because as soon as you get out there, you're hitting them hard, and then, oh, look, now they've dropped below 100 health. You're also getting that extra turn meter.
Then we'll move to Massively Overpowered. I had that on the last one. I didn't get a chance to really play with it too much. I the squads that I was trying to line it up with, I was trying to put booming voice and massively overpowered together. And
Hmm.
even when it procced, I still didn't feel like it did so much damage that it just killed whatever it was at, which was I was expecting. I thought it was going to just be nines across the board, almost just like an insta kill, but it did damage, and I still saw people standing. So I was like, for 4 dots, when you can go and put a whole other grouping of data disks together and have a much better result. If I get it again, I probably won't select it, but if I ended up having it fall in my lap with nothing else to do so I can play with it, then I'll try it. But I'm just not as excited.
Gotcha.
I know Cubs, he said that was the best one ever, so I am by no fact an extreme genius when it comes to this, and maybe Cubs had a lot more fun with it, and I just completely missed, you know, the playing all together on it, but did not have as much success as I was hoping when I saw it. And I think that leads us to the one that everybody's kind of excited about is Dread. So Dread is the one at the start of each allied unit's turn. They inflict fear and plague on a random enemy for 2 turns. And when fear expires, the enemy takes 25% max health damage. And here's the kicker. If an enemy is below 50% health when fear expires, they're instantly defeated.
Oh wow, I never saw that one.
Yeah, that's like having Mother Talzin to the extreme on everybody.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine running that with Darth Revan or Mother Talzin herself, and putting some Plug A out there on everybody, and that gets kind of crazy.
Yeah, and just again, anything with an extremely fast turn meter, like turn meter train, again, going back to the Ewoks, I know I use that, but those things just throw on plague like crazy. Now they're the
They
rancid
are
murder
fast.
bears. Now they become the
Yeah,
rancid murder bears or rabid murder bears, whatever you want to call them.
I think we'll stick with Rancid.
All right.
I like that. That's a good one. You know, I mean, they definitely got rabies, but Rancid makes it just sound a little bit more foul.
Yeah, just remember if they invite you over for Thanksgiving on Endor, don't take it.
No, 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 not unless you have Golden Droid.
Golden God.
Yeah, the Golden God. Yeah.
So
So
other
I
than
got
that,
one.
go ahead.
I got one topic real quick I want to hit on. Has anybody else noticed that their um, timed stuff is not hitting at the same times because of the time change?
I haven't noticed that yet. Oh, you
Yeah,
mean
like
like your
the rewards.
energy?
So yeah, so I had set my um, time to reset my missions at like 10 o'clock at night, and then at 10 o'clock at night they're not reset. It's now at 11.
I got a feeling it's because that I don't think Europe has changed or the other countries have changed time zones to spring up with us. So they
It's
might be
either
waiting
that.
until everybody getting back together, but I could be wrong. I know one of the time zones or time change, daylight savings time, affected at a different time than we did in the US.
Right. Um, I know being in Afghanistan, that didn't change times. So I think because when I downloaded the game, I was in Dubai, which is another one that wouldn't have had a time zone change. Um, that's probably why.
That's my gut feeling. I'd have to check.
Same
So
here.
other than having like a Vader lead, and that's going to probably be my go-to squad with being able to throw turn meter over to Moth Gideon for the what do you want to call it? Turn meter removal. My other
Yeah.
squad is going to be a gas squad. So anything that goes and increases the leader's result, with leader's result, but anything that increases Gas's health to keep him standing longer will allow me to keep getting 3 stars easier. So that's going to be the other big squad, and then um, Jedi Knight Luke with his ability to go and slow everything down when he takes turn.
Can't wait to get that toy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every time I play, I start seeing a little bit more nuances with his kit that I didn't recognize before. So,
Oh, I got too long to go before we get there.
should we take a look at the feats here quick before I actually even enter
Yeah,
in
take a look at your
Conquest?
feats, and then I'll read. You know, everybody's seen the normals, and then it's getting close to that thing. So
Yeah. So, one of the other lessons learned is that I didn't do was take a look at your feats, especially your global feats, and start planning them out from the word go so you don't have to go and backtrack. Had plenty of energy to do it last time, so you could get most of it done. But this time around, especially with hard, I might have that regret if I don't. So the on hard, the event feats that I'm seeing here, the global ones are live in the light, 50 battles with full squad of light side units. Okay, so nothing out of the ordinary. You gotta get 50 wins. Dabble in the darkness, 50 battles with full side or full squad of dark side units. Now I don't know if they fix it so a
here's
full
what they
squad means
here's what they
five.
did. They added, yeah, full squad means 5.
Okay.
It was one thing they clarified. Here's what they did, because I'm looking at the light side feats or the normal feats right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's 35 for me, 35 for you, and 35 for both light and dark. It's 750 on the critical hits, and it's 400 on the grand victories.
Gotcha.
And then it's 10. It's 10 for the no tank. So they
Okay.
doubled most of them. You know, except for like grand victory, they only added 100 to it.
Okay. So critical hits, we know that's going to be. What squad are you going to be using for critical hits?
All of mine, I've got critical up on most of my squads.
Grand victory, so that's not going to change how I'm planning things. And no tanks, so I might try to do that right off the bat with squads like Giant Knight Revan, Gas, Giant Knight Luke, and then Hermit Yoda. So that's 4 that are not tanks, and then throw in a 5th. Something I can't remember off the top of my head.
Right, I got 3 Imperial officers that are up there, and one of them is P at Relic 5. So I'm going to run my imps with no tank. Like, I'm not going to throw in a stormtrooper or a shore trooper. I'm just going to pick one of the other Imperials that I don't have exactly all the way at the top. It's not a tank, and go from there.
And here's
That should be. Oh, go ahead.
Here's the rewards for the feats for Sector 1. So critical success, advantage 40 times, lucky shot, 200 critical hits. So Sector 1 is going to be one of the things that you're going to use to try to get through both this and the global feats. And then flawless victory, win at least 20 battles without losing any units. So I'd probably use my gas squad on most of this. But that to me lines up with a good first order squad is probably what you're going to want to roll through to get the advantages and critical hits, right?
Right, and I mean that's all the same stuff, right. Doubled.
So I got my work cut out. So energy might be a factor in this.
Energy is definitely going to be a factor for you this time.
Okay. Well, I know we got to cut this short, but start the conversation there. And hey, Guild, if you're looking into some of these feats and can't figure them out, I'm not the biggest brain on this. I would say go to the Conquest channel. You've got some officers that really know what they're doing, and collectively that brain trust will get your answers figured out, or they have resources to find that. So if you get hung up on a feat, go to Conquest. I'll do what I can. EOD's there, so you got that Yoda rolling, but you've got a lot of other big.
I'm working on it. I'm getting better. I've been doing a lot of learned from watching. Stop playing with the surge protector, cat. I apologize. That was about to be a really abrupt end.
Keep your powder. Poof.
yeah, exactly. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, I've been getting a lot better at the brainstorming. Once I actually get into it, I can understand what data disks I'm running. Gotcha. So if y'all need, I'm available on the Discord, and the channel is growing. So check me out on my own channel too, along with this one.
Yeah, guys, please hit the subscribe and the like if you like what you see here, so we can keep this going. So just gives me some feedback that let us know that, hey, we're rolling the right direction. So appreciate if you do that. So no culling blade on the cat this time, or anything else this video?
No, we don't have to talk about Padme or I beat her. If anybody watched that last stream, I beat her first shot. My Padme team took her down. That was a great moment.
With that being said, what do you guys say?
Keep your powder dry.
Later, guild.